The final thing that we're evaluating is the squat assessment. So this looks at everything. It looks at the stability of the foot, the mobility of the ankle, the stability and the body's ability to control the knee. It looks at hip range of motion, and it looks at thoracic spine range of motion. So when someone has some issues in their squat pattern, we're going to try to correct a little bit of everything and modify the exercises appropriately. So you'll stand, feet about hip width apart. That is this far apart with the toes pointed forward, not pointed out. It's not a wide stance squat like we might do in power or in the weight room. We need a narrow stance here so that we're requiring a lot of range of motion at the hip in hip flexion and at the ankle in dorsiflexion. So feet are about hip width apart. We're going to place a stick on top of the head so that the elbows are bent at 90 degrees. And if the ankle isn't quite right, what I'll do is I'll just come along and put my hands where I want them to move their hands out so they get the elbows at 90 degrees. Once they're there, they're going to straighten their arms and they're going to squat down as far as they can, keeping the heels flat and the arms straight. Okay? So we'll give them 3 attempts. If they cannot squat where their hip drops below the level of the knee and the dowel stays behind the toes overhead, we'll then elevate the heels on the board behind them. So the heels elevated, now we require less range of motion at the ankle, and now we're looking for everything to stay straight ahead. We're looking for the knees to kind of go out in the same direction as the upper leg, so not looking for knees to come in or the knees going way out. We're looking for the bar to stay in line or behind the toes, the arms to stay straight, the heels to stay down, etc. We're looking at a lot with this. That's okay. It takes time to be able to kind of quickly glance at all these things, but we'll see how Lua does here. So Lua, go ahead and stand with your feet about hip width apart. Okay, toes pointed forward. Good. Now place the stick on top of your head. So move your hands out until, there we go. Okay, so straighten your arms, keeping your arms straight and your heels flat on the floor. Squat down as far as you can. Okay. Again, pause briefly in the bottom for me. Good. Because Lua was not able to keep the dowel back from the front of her toes with her feet flat on the floor, I'm going to have her elevate her heels on the board behind her. So go ahead and elevate your heels. Now you're still balancing the weight between your heels and your toes. So same drill, push your arms up in the air, keep your arms locked out, and squat down as far as you can. Now the bar is well behind Lua's toes. Come on back up. Good. Now from this angle you can't see very well that she's controlling her knees, but her knees are controlled, her feet aren't collapsing excessively, and so she's a 2 on the deep squat, and she's good to go. Probably not even necessary to modify the range of motion for her squats, as long as she can maintain neutral position of the pelvis and not lean forward too much from the hips when she squats. She can probably squat to a good full range of motion.